Hello, and I'm back again with another card. You will see in a second a clip of video which is for the first time I forgot to set it to record. It was still on photo, so I took a photo instead of setting my video going. Within it I will explain what I did, so I'll be back with you shortly. Hello, I thought I was recording. I have put, and I wasn't, Fuzzy Navel Peach, Lindy's Magicals, Red Hot Poker Orange, My Mojito Green, Ponderosa Pines Olive, Blue Hawaiian Blue, and Tibetan Poppy Teal. And I've done sort of like a stripe of each of the colours with Terial Magic, and I'm creating a background. I'm doing this ahead of time. The rest of the video will be recorded another time, but I've got to do it ahead because I need it to dry in order to be able to use it in my video. And as you can see, it is super wet. My desk is obviously not level because it's all heading off down that way. But I want to get the whole card covered in colour. I'm going to put some cling film or saran wrap, I think it's called in America, on this to create a bit more impact. Okay, I have now found it. So just going to put this on and scrunch it up, flatten it onto the surface but with plenty of scrunchies, and hope that I end up with a good result. I have used this wrap before, cling film, so it could be contaminated, so I might have some other colours appearing here and there, but hey, it'll just add to it all. Right, that is going to dry, and when it has, we'll be recording the next bit of video. See you in a bit. Right, so now you've seen what we've done. This is the result. I got a bit carried away with my cutting out, so you'll have to pretend I haven't cut anything out yet. This is the finished result. Just going to make sure you can see it all. Yep. So all the different colours have now sort of blended in, dried and what have you. And also, with putting the cling film on top, I don't know whether you can see, I'm going to try and, oh yes, I think you can. Can you see how the mica in the powders has created these amazing patterns? So it looks glorious. Anyway, what I wanted to do was cut out a flower, which I have cut from the Wildflower Stems number 1 Sizzix 664163, I think that says. Yep. And I used this die here, which, I mean, they're all fabulous, but it is such a gorgeous shape. Anyway, that is the one that I've used. And what I did to cut it out was use a template of where I've previously cut some out, and I just moved it around. I knew I wanted this colour fading into this at the top, so I moved it round until I thought, actually, yes, that's the bit I want. Put my die on and, as you can see, cut it out. So move that to one side. I've also cut out 2 more layers out of this card. I don't know what colour it is or where it's come from, but it's a sort of a slightly pearlescent, and it's definitely not white. If I put a piece of white against it, there you go, you can sort of see it's a sort of greyish. But I thought that would be good as the layering up background under here, because it's sort of rather blended and I didn't then have to worry about what the sides looked like. Sometimes if you layer up plain white, it can look a bit naff, to be honest, on the side. So that's why I did that. So I am going to layer that on there. However, I want to do my background first because I need it to dry. So I've got my usual A6 card and a slightly smaller panel to go on top of it. So I'm going to use the panel. Some time ago I used VERSAMARK Onyx Black ink and I stamped this. This was just a script stamp, and I just stamped it onto some tissue paper. I think the tissue paper actually came from some packaging, shirt or some such, and let it dry. But I did this some time ago, but I wanted to use a bit of that on my background. So what I need for that is some water and a paintbrush. So I'm actually going to use this water brush pen thing, so you fill it up with water, and then that would just give me a random shape. I've already actually got quite a random shape on that side, so I'm just going to take this like that, and once the fibres are wet then they tear really easily. There we are, and that is what I want to go on my background there. To put it on there, I'm going to use some matte medium. This is called Soft Matte Gel. So it's a matte medium. It dries clear, it says transparent, and it's from Art Basics. I've had it for ages, and I found it to be very good. I know that Indigo Blue do one. What's it called? Slap It On, I think. Is that the matte medium? I think so. Anyway, this one, I've got it. I'm not run out yet, so I'm keeping going with it. I am going to just brush some gently on the back. Actually got a bit more there that I didn't realise, so I'm just going to pull that off. Now it's starting to get a bit wet, so it's going to be a bit fragile, so I think I need to get it on there. Just trying to get it so that the writing is straight and not too wonky. A bit more matte medium over the top. And by using the VERSAFINE, excuse me, it means that it doesn't react then with the wet in the matte medium, so you don't end up with smudged writing, which would look pretty bad. Just, that looks as if it's lifting a little bit. There we go. There we are. Right, so that's that done. Lid on. Now, you don't want to be leaving matte medium on your brush, so I'm just going to, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. Put some water into a little pot and just swill it round. I can leave it in there. It's not quite clean, but I can clean it in a few minutes. And that way my brush won't go solid. Right, so that needs to dry before I can do anything else with it. So meantime, I'm going to get this layered up. I've also got some of those pesky hairs as I'm gluing, I've just noticed. So old dry toothbrush, as you may have seen me do before, but it does really help just get rid of those pesky wisps. You can see them probably there. So they are better off than on, I think. And I'll just go on the back as well. There we are, that's a lot better. So that can dry. I've got my panel drying, I've got that drying. I am going to do a little bit of stamping on there as well in a minute, but my next job will be to do my sentiment. I am going to use my stamping platform. I've already got it set up. This one is a Eureka one, it's by Stamps by Me. Still don't know whether they make them, but you know, there are lots of different ones on the market, which I'm sure are all very good. I'm going to use one of these negative sentiments. It's a Crossbuyer one from Amazon, but they do seem to stamp very well indeed. So those are they. I've got it set up, the happy birthday, in there already. And if anybody saw my last video, I've got my little gizmo, which was Marion Emberson. Oh, sorry. I was just plugging it in. It made a dreadful racket. Marion Emberson's idea for using with embossing powders. So I'm just going to put that to one side. It will get very hot, so bear in mind if you're using that. But I haven't used it when I've been heating one of these, and I just thought I'd experiment and see whether it's better, worse, different, same, what have you. I'm just going to move these out of the way and we can get this done. The embossing powder I'm going to use today is a Marion Emberson one, funnily enough. It's called Ponderosa WL16R, and it's a kind of gold and silver mixed in together, so I thought that might be quite nice with the colours that the mica in the background. So what I need is my anti-static. Just in the bottom of this I have put a sticky mat. It's actually cut up from, well, they were generic, they were craft stash ones, and I think they were for an electronic cutting, you know, like a Cricut or something like that. They didn't go in mine because I have a brother scan and cut. But great for this because there's a little bit of sticky but not too much. So I want to stamp that with VERSAMARK. So VERSAMARK on. I don't know whether you can see what I'm doing. This stamping platform is quite big, so fitting it into the camera view is a bit of a challenge. I'm just using a little board rubber just to put the pressure on there. I think that's okay, but because it's a linen card, I am sorry if it's off screen, I think it is, but I'm just going to do one more layer on that. Rub it on. Just give it a minute just to soak into the card a bit. Right, fingers crossed. Pop that out of the way. Scrap paper. And I'm hoping the grains in this are quite big, so I'm hoping it's going to work. If not, we'll be back to the drawing board. that's not great, is it? Let's just scoop up a bit more. No, that's not going to work. I need a fine one. Right, well, let's get this back in. Lesson learnt. I will come back in a second when I have got another one ready. Okay, I've got another one ready and I've gone for silver. This is a very ancient Hero Arts silver embossing powder. So I'm just making sure I've got a decent layer on there. Scoot that away. And then what I should have done was shorten it, because that's not going to fit in my little gadget. So let's just chop a bit off and bring my gadget across. There we go. The non-stick's already in there, ready for action. And in it goes for a few seconds. Just while that's doing, I did actually heat emboss the other one, and it's not good enough. But the powder is absolutely gorgeous. It just doesn't work with what I was doing. So it just needed a nice fine embossing powder. Right, let's have a look. Moment of truth. Well, it's nearly there. Not quite done. Just wondered how it would work, whether I'd get a smoother result. It's never going to be that smooth with one emboss, given that it's on a linen card. Could have used the other side, I suppose. Right, there we are. Let's just scooch that out without burning any fingers. Lid down, unplug. There we are. And I can move it out of the way safely without touching any of the hot bits. Okay, right, so that's not bad. The embossing powder is pretty ancient, so I think you don't get the very best effect when it's old, but it's there and I've got it, so I think it will be good enough. There we are, trimmed end and end, and that is good to go. What I might do is end up raising it up, depending where I put it on the flower. I might have to put some layers underneath it, but it's ready to go. Let's see how dry this is. That's not bad. Just going to put it on top of my little gadget first, and that's dry. Let's just see. So depending where I want to put this on the card, it might be that I just raise up each side, have a gap in the middle. I can either use foam tape, or I can just layer up bits of card behind it. And that actually is a bit of an eco tip, if you like. If you don't like using foam tape because you don't want to use those plastic products, then just layering up bits of scrap card underneath anything that you want to raise up can be another way that you add dimension without having to use foam tape. Just a thought. Not everybody's comfortable with the plastics and things. Right, so this is lovely and warm now because it's been sitting on top of my little gadget. I'm going to use some little stamps from Global Land on Amazon, and I think I'm going to just use this little quirky one here. just to add a little bit of interest. Got a little stamping block ready. And I'm using Distress Oxide Pumice Stone because I thought it would be quite a nice light colour to add some interest but not detract too much from the flower. And I'm just going to randomly stamp it around and about. I even go for a bit of secondary stamping. I don't want it to be too regular, if that makes sense. Let's just try that flower on there, see how that looks. Yes, quite like that. And a more definite one there, I think. How's that? Yeah, I think that'll do. Sorry, I'm muttering. Hope you can hear me. Nothing like talking to yourself, is there? Okay, so that's going to be on there. Colour-wise, I thought this actually made quite a good mail card. Whilst it's a flower, the colours, you know, male or female, either way, but it does just lend itself quite nicely. I think I'm going to go slightly off centre onto there, and I'm going to get Happy Birthday along there, I think. And I will put foam tape. Now, before I go any further, because I've got pumice stone stamped on here, I think I'm going to just run the pumice stone round the border of the card as well, just to marry that together. It's only a tiny bit. That's better. It's funny how these little things just make that bit of difference. Okay, one flower on there. Just realised there's a bit of light blue there, turquoise colour that's appeared. Just going to see if I can lift it and rip it off. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of matte medium over the top of that just to marry it in. And then hopefully that's the problem fixed. There we are. That into the water, and that hopefully has done the trick. Okay, so now flowers going on there. Happy Birthday is going to go across, which will sort of hide where I did my little running repair anyway. So let's put the lid on that blade before I stab myself. Let's get the glue on the back of here. And of course with the background, there's loads of it left. As you can see, absolutely masses of it. So I can make all sorts of other things out of the leftovers, which is always quite nice when you need a quick card, isn't it? To have something that you can work from. There we are. Try not to get it rub off the glue. There we are. They really are fabulous, these Sizzix flower dies. Good old Tim Holtz. Okay, so just working out where I need my, I wanted about that length, sticky scissors. And on that side it goes. Another bit. Easier to snip this way, I think. There we are. Now, I think I need some on the other end, but let's just measure up and check. Okay, so that lifts it off the flower now, so that the foam tape is slightly thicker than the flower depth, so that's absolutely fine. So I just need a bit at this end, so about there. I think this bit will do. Go that way. There we are. Back you go in the right place, thank you. Behave yourself. And then you can budge up next to him. There. There, that'll do it. Sticky tape off. Spin it around the right way. And actually, that does indeed hide. I'm just going to tip it up so I can see whether I've got that on straight. And I'm just holding my background down flat because it has cockled a bit. There we are. Now, because I've raised that up, I'm not going to raise up the whole panel. I am going to sit that down flat so that it could go through the post if I want it to. And there we are. Let's get some glue on that. And that, once you've got your background made, is a nice quick card. And of course you've got loads of background to make as many more as you want, really. And it's satisfying that you've created the background yourself. I always find that good fun. All right, so that's going on there. Going to just adjust and then do my thing of turning it round and checking each side. And there we are. Another card finished. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thumbs up. Thank you for all the lovely comments I've had. I do reply to them all, I hope. I hope I haven't missed any. I'm still learning all sorts of things, but hopefully I've mastered the art of replying to people. But thank you for your time and patience while I'm learning and creating these videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.